The issue of whether Russia's MC-21 airliner became considerably heavier after sanctions and import substitution has become one of the most contentious debates in the country's aerospace sector. Critics have consistently maintained that the aircraft's weight increased significantly after the replacement of Western composite materials and onboard systems. Some allegations even suggest the aircraft became heavier by as much as 6 tons. However, a deeper look into the engineering realities behind the aircraft reveals a much more complicated story. The MC-21 was always designed to stand apart from older Soviet and Russian narrowbody aircraft. Instead of relying mainly on aluminum structures, the aircraft was built around a modern composite wing with advanced aerodynamics. The goal was to improve fuel efficiency, reduce operating costs, and compete with modern Western airliners in the medium-haul market. Once Western sanctions disrupted supply chains, that same wing suddenly became one of the most controversial parts of the entire program. And honestly, this is where the story gets a lot more complicated than internet headlines make it sound. At the center of the debate is the MC-21's massive composite wing. The wing spans a total area of 122.4 square meters and uses composite panels on both the upper and lower surfaces. The structural frame itself is made from titanium and titanium alloys, while the aerodynamic surfaces and wing mechanisms rely on extremely precise carbon and glass fiber composites. These materials have an average surface application density of roughly 100 grams per square meter. That detail becomes extremely important when discussing claims that the aircraft allegedly gained several tons simply because Russian composite materials were supposedly weaker. According to engineers familiar with the manufacturing process, adding 6 tons through thicker composite layering would require around 150 extra layers of carbon and fiberglass on each side of every wing surface. At that point, the entire structure would become practically absurd from a manufacturing standpoint. Aerospace engineers argue that such a design would not only be inefficient, but also incredibly difficult to cure and polymerize correctly during production. In other words, the aircraft could not realistically gain that much weight in the simplistic way many online discussions suggest. This is one reason many specialists dismiss the dramatic 6-ton overweight narrative altogether. And look, if you suddenly keep adding layer after layer after layer onto a composite wing, eventually you stop building an efficient aircraft wing and start building something closer to a flying tank. According to Altitude Addicts, the real technical challenge facing the MC-21 after sanctions was not necessarily the strength of Russian carbon fiber itself. The bigger issue involved the robotic automated manufacturing systems used at Composite's facility in Ulyanovsk. The factory had been specifically designed around advanced robotic systems capable of laying composite prepreg materials with extremely high precision. However, automated systems require prepreg materials with carefully calibrated adhesive characteristics. If the material is too sticky, robotic placement becomes unreliable and inconsistent. Russian prepregs reportedly had higher tackiness than the imported materials originally used for the aircraft. Ironically, those same domestic materials worked successfully in manually assembled structures like the composite tail surfaces of the Sukhoi Superjet 100. Engineers reportedly did not encounter major aerodynamic or weight concerns in those applications. The difference was the scale of production and the manufacturing process itself. Smaller structures such as tail assemblies can be assembled manually without major problems. The MC-21 wing, however, was designed around large-scale automation and sophisticated robotic manufacturing systems. So yes, a lot of the delay reportedly came from trying to make the materials cooperate with the machines, not from the wing suddenly becoming unusable. This became one of the primary reasons for delays in the MC-21 program. Engineers were effectively forced to adapt Russian-made prepregs to systems that had originally been optimized for imported materials. One possible solution would have been to abandon the automated robotic production method entirely and switch to manual manufacturing. That probably would have accelerated production in the short term. But there was a major problem with that option. Russia had already invested enormous sums into the advanced robotic infrastructure at the manufacturing facility. Abandoning the technology would have represented not only a financial setback, but also a major strategic retreat for the country's civil aerospace ambitions. As a result, engineers chose to preserve the automated production approach while adapting domestic composite technologies to work within the system. That decision inevitably caused delays and required additional technical effort. Still, it also allowed the MC-21 program to maintain its long-term technological goals. According to Altitude Addicts, this is an important detail often overlooked in online discussions about the aircraft. The story was never simply about weak materials. It was also about preserving a highly advanced manufacturing ecosystem under sanctions pressure. Another major criticism aimed at the MC-21 involved claims that Russian carbon fiber was dramatically weaker than imported Western alternatives. Yet industry data increasingly challenges that argument. More than 15 years ago, Russian carbon fiber production reportedly achieved strength levels of around 5 gigapascals. Today, Umatex produces fibers in the T300, T700, and T1000 categories, with strengths reportedly exceeding 7 gigapascals. Of course, aerospace composites involve far more than raw fiber strength alone. Resin chemistry, curing behavior, thermal resistance, fatigue performance, manufacturability, and long-term durability are all critically important in aviation engineering. Still, the simplistic idea that Russian carbon fiber is fundamentally incapable of replacing imported materials is becoming increasingly difficult to support. The actual challenge appears to have been more about adapting production systems than dealing with catastrophic material weakness. Now comes the question everyone keeps asking: did the aircraft actually gain weight? The honest answer is that no one outside the program currently has complete, official operational empty weight figures for both the original and the fully import substituted versions of the aircraft. That means many public claims remain speculative. What is known is that the aircraft underwent extensive redesigns beyond just the wing itself. Russia replaced numerous imported systems, including avionics, cabin equipment, toilets, onboard electronics, emergency systems, passenger interiors, and stair mechanisms. Each of these substitutions could contribute some additional weight to the aircraft. However, current serious estimates circulating in Russian aviation discussions suggest the increase may be closer to 300 to 600 kilograms rather than several tons. For an aircraft with a maximum takeoff weight of roughly 85 tons, that increase would be noticeable but far from catastrophic. Commercial airliners frequently experience weight fluctuations during development as systems evolve and certification standards change. That part is actually more normal than people think. The more important question for airlines is not whether the aircraft gained a few hundred kilograms. The real question is whether the MC-21 can still economically perform the routes it was designed for. According to official figures, the fully import substituted MC-21 310 Rus configuration can reportedly transport 21.1 tons of commercial payload over approximately 3,830 kilometers while maintaining reserve fuel requirements. Critics pointed to these figures because earlier promotional materials advertised longer ranges. However, the MC-21 was never primarily intended for ultra-long domestic routes, such as Moscow to Vladivostok. The aircraft was specifically designed as a medium-haul narrowbody optimized for the routes that dominate airline operations. In that role, the published performance numbers still appear highly competitive. Test personnel have reportedly discussed fuel consumption figures around 2,700 kilograms per hour under demanding conditions. Based on those estimates, the aircraft could theoretically extend its range by roughly 1,500 additional kilometers if payload were reduced. In such a configuration, the aircraft could still carry around 15.7 tons of payload over roughly 5,330 kilometers. That translates to approximately 155 passengers, with baggage and cargo included. For the majority of domestic and regional routes, those numbers remain highly practical. According to Altitude Addicts, this is ultimately what matters most for airlines. Not social media arguments. Not dramatic headlines. Actual operational economics. Despite all the controversy, the MC-21's composite wing remains one of the most ambitious aerospace engineering projects attempted by Russia's civil aviation sector in decades. Composites reportedly account for roughly 40% of the aircraft's structural mass. The wing's aspect ratio of around 11.5 is exceptionally advanced for a narrowbody aircraft and contributes directly to aerodynamic efficiency and reduced fuel burn. This is exactly why Russian engineers fought so hard to preserve the composite wing concept, despite sanctions and industrial disruption. Replacing the wing with a more conventional aluminum structure would likely have caused even larger performance penalties than adapting domestic composite manufacturing methods. The MC-21 also became one of the first commercial airliners in the world to use large-scale out-of-autoclave vacuum infusion technologies for major wing structures. This method reduces manufacturing costs and enables the creation of large integrated composite components. But it also introduces enormous technological complexity. And complexity, especially in aerospace, has a habit of becoming painful at exactly the worst possible moment. The broader criticism aimed at the MC-21 reflects the larger challenges faced by the Russian aerospace industry after sanctions disrupted access to Western suppliers. Entire supply chains involving avionics, composite materials, onboard systems, and certification support disappeared almost overnight. Under those circumstances, the survival of the MC-21 program itself is notable. The aircraft may indeed have become slightly heavier during the import substitution process. However, the available evidence increasingly suggests that the dramatic claims of catastrophic weight increases are probably exaggerated. Ultimately, the real test for the MC-21 will not be online debates about a few hundred kilograms of extra mass. The true measure of success will be whether Russian airlines can operate the aircraft efficiently across the medium-haul routes that dominate the country's aviation network. Based on the currently available performance figures, the aircraft still appears capable of meeting the overwhelming majority of those requirements. We thank the people who have liked, subscribed the channel, and shared the videos. I also thank the channel membership for encouraging us. Last but not least, we also thank the viewers who have hyped our videos.